I think there's going to be some excitement to the play. I do think that. Will it result in a lot more kicks, a lot more balls returned? Will it result in a strategy of trying to make the other team return it, all that stuff? I really don't totally know that yet. I don't think anybody can really answer that question until we play some games and see the play out.
Do you think even though you go through preseason games and you can practice this thing day in and day out, you think initially early on in the season you're going to see a variety of penalties because guys are still trying to figure out what is and what isn't?
I really don't think it'll be penalized any more than before. I think teams have done a better and better job trying to eliminate penalties on that play in general, because obviously in the return team, penalties are devastating. But I don't think it'll be more penalized necessarily. I just think there's just a lot of questions. I mean, how much does it affect the guys coming down the field on a kickoff? How much further behind are they without the running start? And those things are hard to tell when there's no pads on because there's no contact on a guy. Can you slow him down there or not? You know what I mean? So I would say right now you kind of have some ideas, but you don't really know. It's got to be confirmed when you play.
Your input was instrumental. Your input was instrumental in part of this change, right?
I don't know about that. I think I will say the league reached out to an awful lot of people. I think they did a great job of that. There was a group who actually met up in New York. I was not a part of that group, but there was a lot of questions and answers and a lot of communication back and forth, which I thought was positive. So,
how much do you think that the players understand all the new rules?
I mean, the new rule is not very complicated. There's a couple things alignment-wise with the kickoff team. There's the no running start with the kickoff team. Kickoff return team, there's an adjustment with a couple players. Like we had 6 guys aligned up close to the ball where it's being kicked. Now we have to add 2 more. So that's a little bit different, but not a whole lot. And then obviously if the ball bounces in the end zone, that's a little bit different. But I don't think there's a ton of rule changes. But it's just modified enough. So I think they understand the rules, but in terms of how the play will look, I think that's a question to all of us.
In terms of personnel, it's said to be more like a punt return now. Does that mean you'll look at someone like Darren more as a kick returner than in the past?
Yes, that would definitely be a possibility. We'll kind of see how that plays out, where he's at, coming off the injury, all that stuff. But I would say that's definitely a possibility. I would say, I mean, one of the big things I think that the league is trying to take out is when like a real big guy hits a real small guy. And so I think a lot of the rule changes are based around trying to promote playing a smaller player, faster player, and eliminate the big offensive linemen back there in the wedge, taking on smaller guys. So I think that's the intent of a lot of the rule changes, is try to make it a smaller, faster play. Whether or not that totally happens, that's also yet to be seen.
So that's probably going to affect the makeup of a 46 too, right?
I mean, if you're right now, I don't know that it'll totally change the makeup of the 46 because we still have the play. Now, if they took the play out, I would say now it's definitely going to change the ball game. But I think still now with the 46, it's similar, and I think similar body types are still going to be fine with kind of the same numbers you've had before.
Dave, what about the kick itself? I mean, do you think it's more important to have distance control now? And if so, could Cameron be used in kick?
So I would say right now probably the biggest thing is to have flexibility. A guy who could drive the ball for touchbacks, a guy who can hang it up high and short with accuracy. Right now I would say you want both because you don't know how it's going to play out. And then you got options. So I'd say right now the best thing you can have is all options on the table.
So could Cameron possibly be used for that?
I don't think he's a kickoff guy, no. We got Kamu though. So.
Speaking of Cam, you've had a veteran punter for many years. Now very young punter, not experienced. What's the thought process of not having any competition? Always that can change. But
yeah, I think at the end of the day, I mean, I always say that actually the most challenging situation is when there's not another guy here, because you're always competing against somebody, and it's a whole lot easier when you can watch the guy you're competing against every day and you kind of know where he's at and where you're at. The harder guy to compete against is the guy's not even in the building, and ultimately they're all competing against him. So we'll look at every player that's out there. Obviously we'll watch him, and we're going to end up going with the best guy. Sometimes that'll be the guy you have on your roster, sometimes it's not. I will say in regards to Cameron, like, I feel great about him. He's done a great job. I thought he had a really good preseason a year ago, played well. He's really done a great job improving himself in the offseason. He's become a much better holder, which was a little bit of a concern a year ago for me. I thought he did a nice job of improving there. You could tell he's a really hard worker. So he came back better than where he left. And I'm definitely excited about him. I think the guy's got a lot of talent, and I think he'll be able to play in this league. So I'm excited, looking forward to it, but at the same time, we'll watch everybody and we'll make the best decision. I know we'll end up with a good player here. I mean, that's kind of happened in all of our specialist spots. I mean, we've kind of been in a situation where it's impossible to replace a John Dornbos or a Donnie Jones, but at the end of the day, we've ended up kind of doing it with those guys. And then same thing with Caleb or Cody Parkey before him, and now we got Jake. So even though the deck shuffled a little bit, we've ended up with some quality players.